After reviewing Murders on the Yangtze River, I wanted to take a step back and review something shorter. So here's a simple game at the low price of absolutely free. I know what you're thinking. They killed Sonic the Hedgehog? Yes and no. We're actually playing a brand new train conductor on his first day working on the Mirage Express, hosting a birthday party for Amy Rose. Then why is Sonic dead? Well, it's a murder mystery themed party, kind of like the Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie with Hercule Poirot. Poirot?
No.
Sonic isn't actually dead. He's been selected to be the victim for the party. The suspects are all familiar faces if you ever played any of the Sonic team titles. This game is actually an April Fool's game in a style that SEGA has never made their Sonic the Hedgehog games before. I personally really love visual novels, so I was super interested when I first saw my friends on Tumblr going nuts about this upcoming game. It was a fun time killer, but how does it stand up as a true mystery? Without further ado, let's get to it. What? I'm avoiding Telltale Batman again? What gave you that idea? Of course I'm not avoiding Telltale Batman again. The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog is a relatively short game. You can pretty much easily complete it within about an hour. A main part of the game is simply a visual novel with a few choices, but nothing that changes the direction of the game. The game starts on your very first day. We are apparently a Quokka? This thing, named Barry, but you can rename him whatever you like, and proceed to meet your senior who is coincidentally on his final day of work. The train is super high-tech, having these arms appearing all over the place doing tasks. Our passengers arrive and we get to see our future suspects as well as their roles in the murder mystery game. The birthday girl, Amy Rose, is playing the reporter and is exempt from being the murderer. Miles Tails Prower is the detective. He's also exempt from being the murderer. That leaves our suspects to be Knuckles the Echidna, Shadow the Hedgehog, Rouge the Bat, Vector the Crocodile, Espio the Chameleon, and Blaze the Cat. Spirits are high amongst the group as they're all here for Amy's party. You get some dialogue while collecting the tickets. It's fun hearing the thoughts of someone that is part of the Sonic the Hedgehog universe but never encountered Sonic and his crew before. Sort of like you get to see celebrities you've never imagined seeing before. After hearing the rules from Amy, everyone is then off to their places and the game begins. You are left with Amy and Tails, but suddenly things get a little chaotic. The train starts to speed and you are sent flying. An accident or all part of the game? You are trapped in a storage closet and have your very first mystery. It's rather basic as Amy seems to be hiding something. Key points are highlighted, making it very clear where the game wishes for you to click. And we have our first Think segment. When you make deductions, the reasoning isn't something you yourself will explain, but through a minigame. This is the only part that is reminiscent of the Sonic the Hedgehog games. You avoid pitfalls, spikes, and wave of attacks while collecting enough rings to properly explain your choice of evidence. The difficulty of the minigame can be adjusted easily even after starting the game, especially if you were like me and was more for just chilling and reading. But because this minigame automatically explains the clues for you, it definitely makes the game much easier. Once escaping the closet and returning to the dining car, we find Sonic the Hedgehog collapsed onto the ground. The game has begun and Amy is already off to interrogate. Our character Barry investigates Sonic, and there's a lingering question if this is part of the game or has Sonic really been injured. You proceed to each car with Tails to speak to each character to hear their side of the story, trying to figure out which one had taken out Sonic, all with a lingering question of if this is part of the game Mirage Express provides, or is something more to it. Spoiling any more of the story would be a shame since it is a free game that you can get yourself at this very moment, so we will proceed to judgment. It's time for the MMO, means, motive, and opportunity. Now, there is a bit of a twist near the end, but I am simply judging on purely the job we had been given to begin with, the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. Means was extremely straightforward, and while it was something you wouldn't have expected initially, with how the story progressed, it definitely made sense. For motive, there were two. Both were very clear and simple to understand. I believe the game does do a good job explaining the opportunity for the culprit to take out Sonic, despite the amount of hurdles presented before them. All in all, I would give it the MMO. Aside from a specific scene that could be uneasy for young children who are sensitive to certain images that shift things to a slightly darker tone, there was no problem with language, there was no actual death of any kind, and it ends on a happy note. While it was extremely simple, it was fun to see these characters interact outside of the typical Sonic the Hedgehog games, almost like a filler episode of these characters on their downtime. So if you're a fan of Sonic, I do think even older junior detectives would be entertained. I would give this game the stamp of approval for both junior detectives and experienced junior detectives. So because it basically holds your hand throughout the entire game, the clues explained away by either Tails or Barry without player input, I don't feel comfortable even giving it 2 gray cells, so I will say it does get 1 gray cell out of 5. As for the heart rating, I will give it a 3 out of 5. It was cute! I do love these characters, and there were some silly fan service, like the shenanigans with Rouge and Blaze, or with finding out the mystery about why Shadow was locking all the doors, but nothing that particularly made me laugh or really stuck out to me longer than the hour or 2. I don't think I would play it again, but I'm glad I at least did once. I do recommend giving it a try when you have an hour to kill and maybe don't feel like booting up a larger game. Thank you for watching. Now it is time for the obligatory plead for likes, comments, and subscribes. So if you enjoyed this video, please check out my other review videos I have done in the past and subscribe. Make sure to click the bell if you would like to be notified of new videos, you know how it goes. I do have a lot of games to go through, but if you ever have a suggestion, please be sure to leave below in the comments and I will try to look into it. Thank you again and see you all in the next video. Bye!